Now this game is going to sting for Team Hungary. They weren't able to get their map pick, but they did show strength and they did almost make it into a comeback, pushed it to overtime, but then it was just a little bit too late. Maybe not enough gas in the tank with it. Aaron had some magic moments for sure, right? But overall, Fiend, they started off so strong that eventually, even when getting to overtime, they had the pieces to get it done.
Yeah, this is rough for Team Hungary because you're looking at this like, this is a must win pretty much if you wanna take this series to the distance, because you're heading into Mirage next. Obviously Inferno is also on the horizon, so this was definitely the map as your pick which you wanted to win, especially against Fiend, who are not really at home in this map that much.
Yeah.
And I'm really worried about Hungary's mental state moving forward, because not only you had that second round pistol, but you came back from that and then you lost in overtime, which is really not a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, even though it was a close map, Team Hungary won both pistols in this game, right? They started with the 3 rounds like on both halves, but the first half was 10-5 for Fiend.
Yeah.
And it was like relatively after that, I think they felt too comfortable after that lead, and it kind of could have cost them. And props to Team Hungary, right? They grinded back, like they were fighting big time, right? But you can see a lot of scrappy rounds. There is not a lot of structure there. There is not a lot of even strats. It's just mostly like just basic stuff. But when it comes to like close games, you need to have something in your pocket, something that you can do, something you can use, or a play for an individual like player, like something set for him. But nothing really happened, and the experience pretty much just kind of won here at the end.
Yeah, you kind of look at it, right, when it gets to an overtime in a game like this, that you need to then throw something you haven't used before, and it felt like that wasn't really there for him.
Yeah, there was a round like in overtime, but there was a guy between CT vent, and he got tagged by the AWP, but nobody wanted to swing to kill him, and I was wondering like what the hell is the AK guy doing, and then they ended up killing him too late. Dreamer walked through the smoking door and just killed them both. That's one of the overtime rounds. You can see that the hesitation there. They didn't play so many kind of high intensity games like this, and it's an experience. And it cost them, like Roland said, they had to win the first map, right? In order to have some sort of a chance. I don't know, you maybe know these guys better and how their mentality works. Are they gonna be like, okay,
probably
we maybe got this?
Probably tilted hard right now.
Or just, okay. That settled it then.
There you go. Dralon's already thinking, okay, they're tilted, we're moving into Inferno. A positive is, when I always look at this, if you've got Inferno that's not a decider in a match like this, it's definitely not completely impossible for Hungary to win. But Fiend, they have a lot of comfort on the individual level of what they'll be able to show on this. That's the thing that they're going to have to be scared of. And even if we look at Fiend's recent results on Inferno, maybe some close games for sure, but they close it out in regulation.
And this is the map which they did really well at IEM with, right? They took down, it was FPX, I think.
Yeah.
Fnatic as well. Granted, it was the old Fnatic, right? It's the majority Swedish lineup, but it's still a pretty good scalp to take.
Yeah, I mean, you can see after the first map, the relief on the Bulgarians' face, like, okay, we got this, and Hungarians kept them like really close on the 2 maps they played so far, right?
True.
And I don't know, it's definitely not impossible for them to win, right? It's, they can still do it. They're starting most likely on the CT side of that Inferno, and then if they get a good start, start like rolling, maybe they can bring it back, but like you said, if their mentality is not really, the proper one for games like this, then it can be all over really fast.
I'll tell you this just quickly, that the one thing going for Hungary here is that their Inferno games have had higher success rates on the pistols, like 70% or something like that, which is the key to like taking this map, right? You want to win both pistols, you want to get that 3 follow-up rounds, then you have 6 rounds to work with. On the other hand, Fiend, they're the ones who have like struggles on the pistol rounds, so that might be like a dynamic which could shape this map.
I do want to take a look back at one moment that we had from Nuke that we nearly forgot about in a clip here. Luckily, the producer's on point and reminding us. It was this moment that probably could have tilted them off the face of the earth. A bit of a G2 moment slipping in there. Not quite as bad as forgetting to defuse, but this round was theirs.
Yeah, I really want to know what happened here, because he had time, right?
Yeah, more than enough time.
I mean, once he started defusing here, right? When there was a last guy on ramp.
It's like, just stay.
I wonder, this HUD is not really showing the actual timer, but yeah, he didn't really let it go. He just defused it too late, right?
And the kit situation as well. I don't think any of the players had kit.
That's the bit, right? You didn't have a kit. You'd already had this like lobby side controlled, right? You knew where he was, so then you should have been down under and had no real problem with it.
Where was the kit though?
Not really sure.
Yeah, the thing is, like in those situations, you tend to communicate. Like, okay,
Yeah.
Keaton, whoever is there, right? That's the usual sentence, right? Keaton,
I
this
think
guy.
that's where the confusion stems from, because obviously half of the players were fighting in that radio area and on ramps, so they didn't really listen to the calls of where the kit was, and the one player who was on site, just stuck the bomb in the end, and then that obviously misunderstood how much time he really has. Just feels like this B site on Nuke is just like it just attracts misfortune, like starting for like Zipex is 1v5 against North, the G2 bomb. It's cursed, it really is.
Just sends you in like a mental spiral for sure. But we've already spoke about the mentality of the Hungarians needing to be strong here. For the other side though, Fiend, they're going to be looking at this guy comfortably now going into their map pick and thinking, okay, look, we got the map we didn't feel that great on anyway under our bag, and now we're going to make sure we just seal the deal on this.
Yeah, two things. Like, they're gonna be feeling fine after this. Okay, we survived this, right?
Yeah.
But what happens after this? Like, they're gonna win this game. Let's say they win this game. They reveal they're very weak on that nuke, right? Against some teams that are really good on the map. So that's like a big point for them continuing in the second stage of the tournament, which can probably be punished by somebody that has like more structure in the team and bigger map pool, I guess.
So do we see any way that the Hungarians come back into this, or is it all doom and gloom? We've had upsets, we've had craziness go down. Where's the positives, Drowlon?
Well, keep believing, hope dies last, exactly. The pistols are the key, and then we saw some great choke point holds from like Coolio and Corey on Nuke, and if they can repeat that on a map like Inferno, which has a lot of these narrow passages, where, especially on the Banana, the T is having to funnel in. If they can lock those down and build a solid CT, that's what we're looking for here.
Well, let's see if it does happen. Let's get back with our amazing commentators in Dinko and Hawker, and let's see if we're going to get a third map, or if it'll all end here and Fiend will take the win to move on to the main event.
Thank you guys for setting the story perfectly coming into our second map of this best of 3, Inferno, a map that Fiend are certainly going to be feeling much more comfortable on. I think you could tell towards the end there, Hawker. Fiend on the T side definitely didn't show too many comfortable signs on Nuke, but this should be a different story.
Yeah, you got to hope for Fiend that this is where they can close it out. Even having the ability to maybe have Mirage if you need it would be nice, but they won't be thinking about that right now. They're going to go ahead and hope they can close it on Inferno. And I really just want to see Fiend continue to grow throughout this tournament, and I think we're starting to see that. Even if Nuke wasn't all that clean, we were kind of expecting the Fiend squad to rely quite heavily on just the skill of their players, and I'd say that is largely what got them through. A lot of great moments late round from Dreamer, some of the other players starting to find some good success. That's exactly what we need to see from them.
Certainly was scrappy, and I think we have a talking point in terms of ships and how he's willing to play aggressive. We had a talking point about Inferno in particular, about what he likes to do on this map, and let's pick up the Mag 7 a hell of a lot, Hawker, and that's certainly a factor you're going to be seeing here on the CT side. In Banana, he will pick up that Mag 7 a lot, try and go for some jumping shots over the half wall. It's actually a very good thing to have in sort of low-buy situations, that prowess, that ability in towards Banana. It seems like Team Hungary have done a lot of prep, though, for pretty much every game they've gone into. That's going to be something they're going to be aware of.
Yeah, I hope we see them being aware of that possibility. And obviously, ideally, Ships doesn't want to have the Mag 7 that often because they will hopefully just keep on winning in the gun rounds. But here we are underway into our second map.
A kit on Aaron. Make sure you keep an eye on that one for the CT side. But it's a quick play here from Fiend straight up through middle. They're going to be charging their way around long. Smoke in towards the middle of the site, and they're actually going to avoid A completely and just push on in towards CT spawn. There's still 3 players towards this B side of the map, though, Hawker, and Corey is under pressure early.
Nade will do some damage, but it's not going to make a massive difference here. The rotate is also arriving, so Fiend need a quick kill onto the site and a quick plant here.
Yeah, Corey's going to have to start off the killing affair. He's got himself one. Ships traded it out quite quickly. The T side can now look for the bomb plant to confirm at least a minimum of 4 spy to the second round, but they're also finding kills. Aaron has been found, so Kit down in the open. Now for 4 players, the T side, the advantage sides of Fiend as they are getting pushed on 2 side. Ships is taken down, and the CZ from Fleeve has come in for a kill on the Harn. Suddenly 2 versus 3. Man advantage certainly starting with the CT side, but Dreamer's going to cut those numbers down to even odds again, and he's got such a good position that allows another pistol picked up for Fiend. Good start into Inferno.
Solid stuff. They find the weakness on the pistol round. They find the open position. And then even though Hungary were starting to flank, Fiend do a good job at just getting that bomb down quickly enough and also making sure they had that player in position ready to watch the flank. That was important for them there because they knew the rotate was likely to come into CT quite quickly. Now we get the pistols out for Hungary. A few nades available for them too, so if Fiend were to take this round slow, having those smokes in the late round could be nice. But Fiend are also a team who are oftentimes going to be happy to go and make aggressive plays. You're already seeing that up Banana.
And Corey is going to be aggressive himself with a flashbang assisted by Badito. 1 kill onto Ships has already come through. Bubble trades it out with a Gleel.
In theory, not a bad start to the round, but you realize that the 1-for-1 trade will leave some weaknesses elsewhere. Fiend won't mind that too much. They've just lost the MAC-10, and now they can start to group up with their rifles, although one of those smokes has stopped them in their tracks. So a bit of extra time bought for Hungary on A, and that means they can now rotate that third player back if they wanted to, especially because Badito's pushed into Banana. I wonder if we'll see that rotate and maybe a stack on this A site.
The T's now creeping their way through top middle, begin their wrap around, having one player in the apartment signals they want to go for a split into this A site. This defense can hold though, as Aaron comes over. Another player available for the CT side, and an instantaneous headshot bomb spotted with that. 40 seconds as the smoke goes down towards Library, cuts off that position of worry. And now focus in on the pit where Dreamer dies down and descends upon Coolio for death. And the bomb is now down in the open, but Harn and Dreamer will make space to recover it. And Badito is not really in a spot to win this round. He's got a smoke and a flash, no kit though. And with a deagle in hand, he's got to hope for some crazy shots. He are low on health, so that MAC-10 can maybe get something going here if he can get through the smoke and get the first pick.
That's what he's looking for, but Harn tucked in on the side, times the peak perfectly. Badito was jumping up as he tried to take that fight. Good information gathered by Badito early in that round, in that 4v4. It was nice for Hungary to be able to stack that site, to give them a chance to establish those crossfires. And Aaron also spotted that bomb very quickly, but Fiend always had the superior firepower, and they make the most of that.
In this round, Team Hungary going for an eco. There's going to be a couple of upgraded pistols, P250s, 5.7 in play. So on the CT side here, Hawker, what can you do to maybe stand a chance in the round?
Got to take some sort of risk in this round. They have decided to stack towards B. I think for Fiend, it's weird when you have a stand-in to have expectations for a tournament, but you would assume they would still expect to make it through this stage, considering the level of opposition. And they're a team that could honestly be a dangerous upset squad if they make it to that main event, just because they're so stacked with skill.
Number 1 seed in the play-in, but IM fall on land, beat Base Clan 16-8 to deny them their major spot.
Yeah, especially in a best of one.
Yeah, exactly. So you see those situations, they can be such a dangerous team for a lot of sides. Fiend. The Bulgarians are always a team that you can never really count out. I think when Yanko arrives tomorrow, he'll tell you all about that. He has definitely had experience playing against the Bulgarians back even when he was playing. So definitely been around for a long time, particularly obviously Bubble. The reason Ships is here is because Victor isn't here because of illness, so hopefully he gets better soon. But Victor, another player with a lot of experience in this Bulgarian scene, is 3-0 lead for Team Fiend. It's a bye round for both sides now.
Orp instantly out for the CTs, but it's the banana play coming through. Aaron sitting behind sandbags, and he's good for 1, good for 2.
Yeah, fantastic 2K from him. Didn't really even need the help of Corey just yet. Molly's gonna go in, and that's gonna heat things up. Aaron burnt away to a crisp in back, but the reply is a full barbecue here. All the families join, and 2 are down. 2 players left here for Fiend and a gun round. It's not been too great for them at the beginning of this one. Now they start to wonder about the way back in. 2 players currently sit on the defense today.
They haven't seen that AWP yet, though, and Fleeve is just sitting on long. If they don't use utility against him, it could be an easy pick. But instead, they go into the apartments, and Fleeve may have to be stuck behind this smoke.
He's going to be isolated. Now being held back by utility with 55 seconds. Dreamer has a chance to try and crunch on Coolio alone. Dralo was mentioning on the desk how many Coolio anchor holds we've seen out of him. We've got to see a little bit more delivered here in Inferno. Fleeve, that smoke faded away. Didn't really capitalize on the opportunity when the utility was placed, so didn't actually get the shot at the 1 versus 1, but their team play severed. So ends up having to walk right into the AWP, and Red Star has no shot at winning this round. Save call for him. 30-second save call. And there's not too much money available to Team Hungary, so they're not going to be hunting him. They don't have the resources to do it. This is the site of the massacre in this round, though, Hawker.
Yeah, a lot of action on Banana early. That head is in the ground, I think.
Yeah.
Not sure how that's happened.
That was how hard he got shot.
Clearly.
Just butchering into the ground. His head's in the pavement. Ostrich style. Did have a massage today, Hawker. I did feel like I had that posture before that. Now I kind of feel human again. I forgot I'm actually 6'5", so it's like fix my posture. It's all good.
I think Banks might have something to say about you being 6'5".
I mean, Banks is 5'8", so.
Well, the early banana battles in that round already commencing. That is always a storyline you have to keep an eye on Inferno. And the CT is able to lock it down in this one. Team Hungary did commit 3 to B early in this round to make that happen, though. You can see the flash assist came in from Badito. He was setting up utility to help. And it is another round where Hungary start 3B, and Fiend still want to fight. It's the same scenario. Aaron able to get 1, but instantly traded out.
Well, he's still able to deliver a kill, but Fiend will be happy about trading that out 1-for-1 and taking banana control. That's certainly going to favor the T-sided attack, as now they have to weaken the defense by sending an extra player over to B. At least 1 player on the A side, and that's exactly where the T's are going.
Good call from Fiend here. They put pressure on B early. They sell the fake with the smoke, and now Coolio is sitting in graveyard. This is a good position to pop up and try and catch them out. Double kill before he can be traded.
Massive impact out of Coolio. And now for Team Fiend, they need to ramp up the pace and try and get into the site, but there's no smoke for Library, and that's 1 shot for Fleet. That's the bomb down short. And just 1 player left, Dreamer, stuck inside a mini pit. He's going to try and tap away towards Library, but there's still 3 players he's got to fight. This is so difficult for him because that bomb is not planted. In fact, it's not even in his possession. He has the right read to try and force the molly fight into Corey. Couldn't quite hit his shots, though. And what a step up again from Coolio.
So solid is that anchor. That's exactly what you want out of your anchor in that position. And then for Fiend, I think Hahn had a smoke in his back pocket there. I'd have liked him to even just drop that smoke on site maybe, because it's quite likely the CTs will rotate into long. And even if you just underhand a smoke onto site, it can allow you that bomb plant. That can get you some extra money maybe into this round, or even give you a chance to win it. So a bit of a shame there for Fiend, because the call looked so good initially, but credit to Coolio for stopping it in its tracks. And now Hungary will go back to a more default setup, maybe aware that they're against the pistols in this one.
Oh, Corey trying to slip his peak down Banana. Ships with a lovely headshot. It's cracked open the first player in Banana, but there's still the rifle. And that's the problem, because Badito with the 3K, 2 headshots of the wall bag, and finishes off Ships with the final bullets left in his magazine. And Dreamer making noise, they know exactly where he is, and because of that, an assassination as Fleet publicly executes him. Ties up the scoreline 3-3. Team Hungary will be happy about this comeback, and this surge of opportunity now starting to flow through them.
When Ships gets that early kill on Banana, that looks scary, because the second player was committed. If he also goes down, it is quick access to B. But Badito stepping up with some really important kills, a couple of wallbang headshots in there. And a nice bounce back for Hungary. Yeah, that's crazy.
So lucky to get that second shot off. Aaron charging down mid. This is confident from Aaron. This is really quick from him, and he is going to make it work. Nice transfer onto the second. Immediately, Team Hungary into a great situation because they had Fleeve to watch the fallback. And now Ships is desperately looking for any way back into this round. He charged forward, realizing that he needs to start these kills quickly. He's 1 versus 5 in total, has collected the first, aware of the last whereabouts of Aaron, but trying to find him becomes a very difficult task as Ships now starts to track and find his way through this murky map to see if he can find anybody. Aaron walks right into his crosshair, gift given up. And now Ships looks for his 3rd victim. They are split up into the 1 versus 1 here. Badito, just on the left side of underpass. He's going to smoke off T-Stars. Does have Corey peeking in from top mid, so Ships really is in a difficult spot, but he's got the chances, and Ships is tapping away! He's found another headshot, and Ships suddenly into the 1 versus 1. This could be one of the best plays of the tournament so far, as Coolio makes the race over to the B site. Ships smokes off the cross. Coolio decides not to spam, and Ships is planting the bomb. Coolio goes silent into the CT smokes, and Ships is given a chance to relocate back in towards Ruins. Coolio now looks for him, trying to recover the round for Team Hungary. This could be a nightmare as Ships has gone in towards Ruins, but Coolio has tracked him right into position, and Ships has no idea. He's looking the wrong way. A valiant attempt, but Coolio will save the day for Team Hungary. But Ships, what a nice try that was.
Oh, he would have needed the ace to do it. Such a good effort there as he finds a way to turn it into 1v1 fights. Ships will feel devastated, but the fact that he brought it so close is impressive in the first place. I love how Team Hungary have started out their CT side, though, taking a lot of initiative in these gun rounds. Initially, they were fighting on Banana. This time, Aaron just pushes down mid. He's been taking a lot of these early aggressive plays. That one works out wonderfully. And even though he does give away that chance, which gave Ships an ability, look at how few bullets he had here, having to tap to the head, almost out of ammo. But Coolio gets the read right in the end, and Hungary have taken back the lead, taken the lead for the first time on this map.
They're playing the Bulgarians at their own game, Hawker. They're being disruptive, they're being a nuisance and playing a disrespectful style of Counter-Strike.
Yeah, they're not letting Fiend get comfortable here on Fiend's map pick. It's exactly what you want to see.
Double dead in behind the half warp. Try and chunk some of these players down early. The Ships have been given the task of the AK. They've seen what he's able to do in the last round. Nearly pulls off a 1 versus 5, so they send him out to try and open up the round this time. We get the read of the potential pop and peek up. Had his crosshair in the right place, just couldn't quite land the headshot. But here comes the B play. Final attack into the B site. Bonito at the back of the site is isolated. 7-0 from his teammate because of the smoke stop. But Bonito is going to go down. That's going to allow a bomb plant at a minimum right now for the Bulgarians. And they might just win the round now if they can find Corey. But he slipped his way through into the site. He's still in dark and they have to check him. Bubbles charging him down, but Fleeve and Corey have got kills for the Hungarians. They're starting to recover this one, but that bomb is still down. Corey still flagging. Second kill for him as Ships now with the AK is alone into 1 versus 4 this time around. He's trying his best, but just so many players coming in from so many different positions, and it's not going to be enough. But Team Fiend find their way into the bomb site. They get the bomb planted, Hawker.
Yeah, keeping that round competitive despite not having a great deal to work with. They had just that 1 AK largely in play in that round, alongside some pistols, so pretty impressive for Fiend to make that one somewhat close. Getting onto the bomb site, there was just so much chaos and confusion around those smokes with all the nades and flashes going back and forth, but eventually Hungary were able to pull it out. Just having that player at the back of the site, Corey, making a big difference there. Guns out for Fiend. Han decides to go for that AWP on T-side Inferno. Some snipers don't like to take that AWP. You don't have as many options to get opening picks. Han right now just holding mid, but it's Fleeve who's fast on the shot.
Lovely flick that from Fleeve, and in tandem, Aaron finds the other kill here for Hungary.
But he could still be weak here, though. There's only 1 CT here right now.
Yeah, but he's just going to throw that smoke down and the flash in to keep them back, and it's absolutely done the job. It's kept them back in behind the smoke, and in fact, forced Fiend to maybe reconsider some options.
Yeah, Fiend wanted to quickly pounce on the B site, and it would have been a great call. It would have been their best chance to come back into this round because there was only 1 man there. So really good awareness across the map to just put that utility down, stall Fiend out. And now you could really do with Han finding one of those picks on the AWP, because that's one of the few ways back into this round from a 3v5. Aggression's come in through second mid from Aaron. So they can stick with this 3B stack. They're comfortable. It's not the A play right now.
Han begins to walk forward into the site, and the peek out from Coolio comes at exactly the right time here. Hungary not even letting Fiend into these rounds. Flawless from the Hungarians. 5 stay alive. And Fiend, well, I don't think they were expecting this, Hawker. The Hungarians are bringing a real fight.
Might be time to take a pause somewhat soon, as Fiend have gone on a 6-loss streak ever since we hit the gun rounds. They can afford a bye. A couple of players will have to scrape together, like a Lil in there and a few nades maybe missing. Still competent for Fiend.
Gabison has to be one of the most charismatic coaches I've seen, man. He's just hyping everybody up. No one's left out. Here we are. Round 10 gets underway. Smokes into Banana.
Hungary's finally starting to play some more standard rounds now on this CT side. I think they just wanted to come in with some early aggression, maybe even to get the respect of Fiend. They seem to have done that right now, as Fiend have been slowing down these T rounds significantly. 4 players on A right now for Hungary, and they have a huge top mid stack. This could be so good for the CTs.
This could be absolutely devastating for the Bulgarians as they go through Red Scarf against the cut through, but here comes Aaron Hall. Horn somehow swings out. Whiff shots come in from the Hungarians, and now with 2 versus 3, Fiend have the shot, but are they ready for Coolio? Of course they're not. He's in a good position, and Ships' bomb is down as Coolio once again holds on. He has traded out, and now 1 versus 1. Dreamer diving down. Has to be a clutch. And it's the big man here for Hungary. It's Fleeve, the talisman with the AWP. Dreamer has taken a lot of damage, but it doesn't exactly matter. And the AWP comes hunting for you. He's looking for the pick, but it's missed its shot, and Dreamer now knows he can hold the angle. He's waiting for the peek out, and the Molotov can force him into the awkward fight, but Fleeve gets caught. Dreamer brings him down, and 4 rounds as Fiend finally tastes the sweet taste of victory again.
Well worked by Dreamer in the 1v1. Knew he didn't have to commit to the plant. Decided he could just play for the frag. For Fiend, though, the fact that that's the round they win is so surprising. They ran into a heavy top mid stack. They didn't even use any nades walking into top mid. Aaron was set up so well to get 2 kills there, but only finding 1. And that made a big difference, because if he got the 2 kills, maybe the trades go differently, and they don't have to go down to that 1v1 scenario. But instead, Dreamer able to win another clutch for his team. He's been doing really well in these late round positions for Fiend throughout this series. That was such a crucial round for them to finally win.
Where's the coach from Team Fiend? Just disappeared completely.
I think they're one of the teams that doesn't really have a proper coach right now.
So he's just having some dinner or something. But yeah,
maybe.
Meanwhile, Gabison chilling out behind him. Hungarian side certainly have a coach in mind. Massages as well. Maybe have to hit him up through. But here we are. Current round 11.
Aaron charging down mid again. They didn't spot for this last time. This time there is someone watching, but Bubble has to turn back and turns back just in time.
Yes, lovely shot from Bubble. Reaction times have not died with age as he turns around for a quick headshot. Smoke comes into towards top mid. That might just slow down the Bulgarians. I think Team Hungary have been pretty good about placing their utility, but time for Fiend to disrespect it. They throw a flash to the top mid smoke and call the bluff on the hold in behind it, and that's allowed Ships to get around at long, and he really needed to win that fight. Luckily for Fleeve, he gets back and gets a second up towards apartments. Not easy shots to land there for the Alper, but he's come out on top.
Corey also in position. They have everything accounted for right now over on A.
Ooh.
That could do something. Yes. There we go. 2 kills.
It's going to do everything for leaving Corey out of the round. Red Star has crossover towards Library, but again, it has to be Coolio, the only player left. Now they know the last A player is here. The B site's empty. The bomb's going to run that way. And they've even let 1 player to hang around and cut off Coolio's move from the site. A round goes in favor of Fiend. And they're now starting their charge back into the game.
Starting to find some success towards A in these recent rounds. And I think Ships is aware of the fact that Hungary's money is borderline. He's bought a Mac 10, but Hungary still have just enough money to subsidize the buy here. And the AWP for Fleeve is something that could be quite unexpected at this point. If Fiend think this is a low buy and they just go running into that AWP, that could be a problem, especially as Fleeve is switching up his positioning, going B this time.
Well, he's going to go for the quick peek, knowing that there is a lot of pressure on his shoulders to deliver something, but that shot is rung out. It's not giving away much. As Corey peeks over the sandbags and takes the kill on Ships. But now Fiend know there's an AWP and quite a few players put in towards that B defense.
It makes some noise going back to A, and that has baited out the rotation. Now it's only 2 players on B, but the flash in.
Yeah, Corey's going to get flashed around the corner. He doesn't fully commit with it. Just gets that info that they're still here, coming in towards the site, and Fleeve will start to deliver. 2 kills for him. Bubble and Red Star will be forced to drink from the poison chalice. And Corey, from on top of first oranges, collects his next victim. Bomb now down in the smoke. Fiend's round is held off, and Fleeve does deliver the goods required from that AWP.
Second shot was really nice too. Had to just track that player quickly on the re-peek. Well played by Fleeve there with the AWP in his hands, and unfortunately, despite Dreamer's proficiency in clutches so far, this one is not possible. Fleeve's got 15 kills.
We talk about him being the star of the show all of the time for this Hungarian side. The cool thing is about this team over the past couple of days, Hawk, is that we've been able to look in depth a little bit more on this team and figure out who the players are and what they're good at. You know, Aaron in particular, we talked about his ability to be an explosive player, great at the entry frags. Now we're discovering Coolio is fantastic at being that anchor player that you can always rely on. Corey had a lot of X-Factor moments, can time his aggression quite well. This team, they are a mix, but they have got the pieces and the capabilities to do something here with this team. Tap it in. In the Italian Radio Hawk, anything happening there? Do you speak Italian?
No, sadly not.
Ciao. 1-0. That's it. All I got. Pizza, maybe, pasta.
Yeah.
A little bit of food talk, that's about it. But I'm sure they're not talking food right now on the server. 7-5 as we are just a moment away from getting back into round 13. All about for Fleeve continues to be a factor. Buy-in for Fiend, though. It's not a great buy.
Hold down mid. Fleeve flashed off the angle initially. He's going to peek into second. Another missed shot from Fleeve. Only down to half health for his troubles, but a couple of missed opportunities. He was still thinking of going for more, but I think his teammate may have just flashed him. So he has to fall back. And Hungary continue to be quite dynamic with these rotations. They've put a fourth player on A yet again. Bodito has a full set of nades to lock down B if required. And this double stack in apartments could be quite nice. In fact, Coolio's going aggressive in the apartments, pushing really far up with the AWP babysitting him.
And they're choosing two polar opposite angles. So the AWP will be the first to take the peak if they were to swing and try and challenge the AWP. Then the rifle's there, but Dreamer deals with it the only way possible. Missed shot for the AWP, swings on the second rifler, and Fiend somehow come out of that one on top. And now they can start to turn their attentions to this A site, begin to liquidate the defense. 45 seconds left. The T's just sitting outside of it. There is a little bit of a pep in their step as they begin to run their way through. Flee's still outside of the pit. Gets a second kill because ships are so tunnel visioned on getting to the site. And because of that, they lose members. Bubble and Dreamer are starting to fight back, but Aaron's still there and they need to deal with him. And threat is neutralized thanks to Red Star, who opens up the site again. It's just Bodito in a 1 versus 2.
Trying to cut the noise as soon as possible to keep Fiend guessing on this retake. He has got utility, but he won't want to use it early. He could really do with getting the drop on one of these players, but Fiend realized there's no need to face him. They're just going to sit back and make this as difficult as possible.
He has a smoke to isolate it into a 1 versus 1 fight if he wants to give away his position now, but Dreamer's about to get that info. I don't know if he spotted him, but Dreamer's not taking the fight. Instead, they're letting Bodito walk right into the guillotine. And that's going to cost him his head.
Lopped off at the end of the round. Red Star, the man to take the kill. Good setup from Fiend there, just making sure that they could work off the back of each other if required in that post-plant scenario. Hungary getting another good read, having 4 CTs on A. Unfortunately, Fleeve missed a fair few early opportunities to get that man advantage, which maybe could have put Hungary in better stead for the hold. He did get a couple of shots as the push came in, but I think the Riflers will also be a bit disappointed that they couldn't win their individual battles. Fiend starting to bounce back now, up to 6 rounds, and Hungary's economy could be in trouble if they lose this one, and that might be likely as they've lost the early man.
A little bit of fried Bodito inside of Banana.
Delicacy.
He's going aggressive. Yeah, fried banana certainly is a delicacy in Scotland. But here we are. Coolio wants his teammate Flea trying to lock off top mid. Spray down through bottom banana. Oh, bottom middle, should I say. Nearly connects onto Horn. A couple of these players do not want to take a whisker of damage more because right now Red Star's ships have been damaged significantly.
How much is a whisker of damage, Dinko? Exactly. I need to know your measurement system.
That 1 shot, maybe a little bit about 22 damage around that.
Okay.
Yeah, probably 22.35, something around that. But Fleeve, oh, that's more than a whisker out of place right there. Dreamer just headshots him around the back side. 2-man advantage now for the Fiend side, and right now for Hungary, we're starting to get into that territory where this is a little worrying because yeah, they had a fantastic start to this half Hawker, but that money's starting to die.
They're going back B though. They're running into the stack, potentially. There is time to go back to A.
I think they're going to.
If they figure this out.
I think with Dreamer playing this information play as well, if Dreamer gets the info that A site is clear, if the resistance spotted on B early enough, they can just run it back. Chips is down early. Do they call it off? Do they cancel it? Or do they just keep committing? Because the bomb is decided to just cross over to the side of the site. Now Corey, so close to having something out of it, but ends up just going down. And Red Star finds the second through the smoke. 7-7 as the scoreline's now tied, but you're right to point out that was the best chance possible for Team Hungary to win the round.
And now that they lose it, they also lose their guns. They don't get the ability to save, which is what they wanted. So finally, after 15 rounds of trying, Fiend are able to break the CT bank. There are a couple of close moments there. But this, into the last round of the half, will be pistols for most of the Team Hungary players. Good opportunity for Fiend to get the lead. Inferno is a pretty balanced map nowadays, though, so both teams will be okay with this, and Han has already got a very early kill in this one.
Yeah, if anything, Inferno's T-sided statistically now.
Yeah. One of the few. I haven't looked at the stats recently, though, because the M4A1S, I think, may have made every map a bit more CT-sided.
An ancient, massively more CT-sided.
As if that was even possible.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as old school.
All right, Aaron. Lovely headshot on the Deagle. Chips is trying to hunt it down, but the CTs have got out of dodge.
Oh, such good information for him. You just saw them both run away. So you may decide to commit to B off the back of that.
Yeah,
especially because Hungary just used so many nades on Banana. I think Ships has realized they were probably using those nades as a bait that they have more players here than they actually do.
And Hungary rotated, so
yeah.
It's
a smart decision from Ships.
It's Ships just playing forward, just finding as much space as he can, and finally makes contact. And Aaron is so good. His aim is so crispy.
That's an AK.
Another.
AK into the hands for the retake. It's still going to be difficult, but at least they have the kit on Coolio to give them a slightly better chance and a boost at the ready.
They know they have to set up this AK. They know they have to get into a good position, and Red Star has pushed forward. Coolio caught inside of Ruins. AK didn't get much from the boost done.
Finally, the bomb plant. Took its time, but it means the retake has the ability, and they have the smoke for Banana too, which might be nice.
And a kit on the back of Corey, so a little bit extra time to play with. Try and get back into the site. But given that the numbers certainly favour Fiend here, still looking good for the Bulgarian, should I say, to lead the way at the half.
Oh god, they're just going to have to go through.
They're just going to have to plunge through the smoke and see what they can find here. Red Star at pool, and Harna lined it up too. 8-7 at the half for Fiend. Their map pick definitely had some troubles in that first half thrown to them by the Hungarians. I think they played a fantastic, disruptive CT side.
Yeah, Fiend didn't win the initial pistol. That could have been a completely different half. It could have been one that they actually lost quite convincingly.
Wow, that's a nice face right there, Hawker. Face of terror. Wrists.
It is terrifying.
There's no mouthful.
You never know when the nades are coming at you.
There we go. The only man dressed better than the T's in Counter-Strike. Gabison, of course. The Hungarian colors. Hungary do go out at this stage of the competition. I'll certainly miss fashion days with Gabison. Wonder what else he had prepared for us, Hawker.
We'll see if any of the invited teams can live up to his level.
I did see Gambit, right? Because I used to see them when they were Gambit youngsters. Used to wear, you know, the outfits, the Gambit stuff. But now I see them, they're wearing some cool clothes now, dude. They've leveled up. They've got all the prize pool money. They're looking cool. As you head into the pistol.
Now let's see who's looking cool in this pistol
Coolio.
round. Yeah, you've got to keep your cool.
Leo. He's got plenty of utility here as well on the T side. It's double flash on Aaron and Coolio.
You've also got Bubble on the CT side with the flashes playing between the sites. So he could quickly rotate to B and help with these flashes if needed.
And that's what the call is. Once the information comes, that flash will land just in front of the T offensive. And they've got two players inside of the B side trying to chop down the legs of a couple of these players. In fact, it's a clothesline defense right now. B site will be opened up, forcibly opened, with a crowbar that is Corey and Aaron. 3 versus 3. Site is certainly there for the grabs. The bomb has not yet been planted. They feel uncomfortable, but they have got a kill. Harn swings into it. He's lost his life. That is going to give that advantage to the Hungarians, but they haven't planted the bomb yet. I don't think they're going to feel too pressured just yet, since there's still 48 seconds left in the clock.
Not much cover on that B site either, so they maybe just want to get the kills instead. Aaron's in a boosted angle to try and catch this CT player out, but Fiend realize they can just wait for the plant themselves.
They know they can't go anywhere else, right? And Bubble's trying to just spot out, try to take his opportunity to get a kill to draw the numbers back to an equilibrium, but couldn't quite get the shots to land. And now Aaron has forced his way out. He's now covering off this plant. And for Fiend, it's going to be a difficult retake now. They haven't got utility to force them out of these positions, and Bubble and Dreamer both go down. Team Hungary tie up the scoreline.
You can see the idea there for Bubble. He had the flashes at the start of the round. He did a decent job at delaying by throwing those flashes in above the site so his teammates wouldn't get blinded by them because they are under the roof that he's throwing them above. It's always a nice way to throw those flashes to help, but wasn't enough this time. The initial hold was decent, but it is Hungary who come out on top. And I instantly saw Team Hungary looking down at their notes, ready for this second round. So clearly, they have something in mind, and hopefully, they are aware of the possible Mag 7 of Ships, which has come through on this 4-spy. He's not playing Banana with the Mag 7, though. Oh, good shot from Aaron down mid. That's a nice way to start it. smokes on B for Bubble to try and delay if the play comes that way, but it won't be going over to B. It'll be coming over to A. That means that Ships with that Mag 7 has a chance to show us what he can do. The specialist weapon.
Oh, Aaron. A lick of damage from the Molotov as he charges through the sound cue given, and here goes Ships. Mag 7 in hand. In fact, in the hands of this guy, it's a Swag 7 most of the time, but this time not enough damage done from it. So the kills come in for the T's, but Red Star is still the nasty surprise towards the back of the site. They find him in the corner, they eliminate him, and that'll be the round picked up.
What a lovely shot that was, a lovely transition. Some good cinematography going on here.
Oscar nominated.
I know, right? Running into the stack there, but the CTs didn't have a great deal to work with, and if there were more kills earlier, Red Star could have had a real chance of doing something there, being snuck in at the back of the site. But his teammates didn't get much done on the initial hold. So for Hungary, it is a great opportunity to get up to double digits. Fiend having to take a gamble stack again, but with the USPs, even if you guess right, you probably can't do too much.
Fleeve. He's caught in position. He's going to throw the itchy in after. Oh my god, he gets away. I don't know how he does that, but Coolio and Corey make sure that the chaos won't happen. In fact, they don't even lose a single player here on Team Hungary. It really is the scene of the round. 3 in the bedroom. Who knows what they're up to, but here we go into the next one. It will be a bye this time from Team Fiend. They've got the double up set up, Harn and Red Star. 3 M4A1S out around it. The utility here now for the Fiend side as they are currently down in their map pick. Just a reminder for anybody at home, we're currently in map 2. Team Hungary just about lost out in their map pick of Nuke as Team Fiend now take the lead on map count. The winner of this moves on to the main event. The other is out of the competition.
Has to be said, we haven't seen that star level performance out of Han so far.
Nope.
T-side Inferno, it can be hard to AWP, and over on Nuke, he was playing ramp mostly. So now on this CT side of Inferno, this is his best chance yet to have impact with that AWP.
Gonna be a play right into Han. Gets off to a good start with the smoke kill. Ships has been caught though. That's gonna give a real chance to charge through to the site, but Dreamer is starting to ruin and crush their dreams. When 2 kills coming in from the balcony, Fleeve gets overrunning Cubby, and the shutdown is their Team Fiend. That's a convincing gun round out of them.
And it's nice to start to see Han show up as soon as he gets that AWP out on this CT side. This has been a bit of an awkward series just in terms of the maps that have come out. I think the 2 maps here, Nuke to start with, which is a map Han never played historically on his old teams, so doesn't really have the full understanding of how to play Yard. And then that T side of Inferno, those are probably the 2 hardest maps he's going to have to AWP on. So I think now we might get to see him really show up to that star level. And if that could happen here, we could definitely see Fiend dragging this one through. Double up setup is pricey though. Got to stay on top of that money if you want to consistently get this out.
Does help though, every time they go to a low buy, Ships only buys a Mag 7, so probably can get that AWP out pretty quickly.
Yeah, especially if you get the kills with it.
Well,
Make a lot of money.
that's certainly something he wasn't doing a while ago, but
No.
he does buy it a lot. I actually haven't seen too many kills out of this tournament. Usually not the case though. Harn on the AWP. Again towards top mid, but Badito is all about taking top banana control. The double nade stack. It's worked out. Fleeves out of the round, and Badito tried to pull it back, but couldn't quite land the crucial shots.
Well-timed incendiary, but they're both stuck behind the CT smoke on B right now. If the T's commit to this, little do they know, they actually have a free bomb site.
And look at the CTs though on A. They can get in behind it quickly. CTs are held back. These A players might play a little bit more proactive and try and get a timing around the back site. All they need to do now for the CTs on B is try and delay and allow that rotation to start to come through. Smoke up towards CT spawn. It's keeping these CTs behind the smokes, and that is going to allow Team Hungary onto the site. Some damage sprinkled through the smoke, and Hungary are losing players. They're down too many members right now, and that shot through the stained glass window isn't too far off the mark. As Team Fiend start to get all of the kills, it's just Corey and Aaron trying their best to dig themselves out of a sinkhole. And it's not going to happen as Red Star piles on more mud. It's 10-10 as they tie it up. Team Fiend certainly into the game again on their CT side.
Looking good for them. Red Star this time having some good impact with his AWP. So that double AWP setup is starting to show its success. And even though it looked like Fiend might get caught out of position early, push into CT for Team Hungary was an attempt at maybe getting in behind those players that they thought might be playing on the bomb site. It's clearly not the case though. Fiend had a different setup than Hungary were expecting. Those nades onto Fleeve early also really, really nice. Red Star can just sit back and wait for them to come to him.
It's so good every time you watch it, man. So quick on the trigger. Red Star, that's the capabilities of Fiend, isn't it? It's just how many AWPers you've got on this team.
Yeah. And now it's Fiend's turn to reap the rewards of the economy game. Chance to build even more money. They're already pretty rich. That smoke will cut off the AWP though, so Dreamer has to do work from the apartments.
Well, Ships has got the first pick. Slowed down a bit of the play here for Team Hungary, but they got their way in towards the site. Dreamer trying to figure out what is going on. Finally, from the balcony spots Perdido. Bomb not yet planted. In fact, it's down and loose. And so Coolio has eliminated Dreamer. Second kill in from the pistols, this time from Fleeve. This is starting to become a bit of a nightmare now for the defense of Team Fiend as they just keep losing players. It's suddenly all on Bubble. He's coming back in from short. Retrievable bomb is not the case here for Team Hungary because it's down a graveyard. Bubble doesn't know that though. He's going to have to try and hold this position, and they have to cross over to get that bomb, and they have to cross into the crosshairs of Bubble. You've got to say that he has a good chance now if they play the cards incorrectly, and they've lined up. Bubble now just needs one more player, and Coolio is on 2 HP. Bubble spotted him inside of the pit, jumps across. Now Coolio looks to re-equip that bomb, puts it on his back and looks towards the site, trying to figure out where Bubble's come from. He could wrap around long, but he thinks he's coming from the apartments. He's banked on that side of the play, and Bubble has got the angle. He's got the clutch as well. Experience hangs out of the Bulgarian, and he pulls his team through a nightmare scenario.
Such a nice round from Bubble. The lineup obviously helps, but then the decision-making in the 1v1 is beautiful. Flashing over from short, making sure the player had to be concerned about that position. Walks around to the apartments as quickly as possible to come through. Gibson decides they need a timeout after losing that one. It wasn't a round they were expecting to win. They took it surprisingly close, though. And for Team Fiend, the problem with that setup initially is that you had Han on long, quickly smoked off so that Hungary had access to short, and then Dreamer was in the apartments instead of being focused on the actual short angle. So he just had to let them up into the site. They didn't have any resistance on short itself, and with all those smokes going up, it made it really chaotic. Fiend felt like they had to fight for the site through that long smoke, which obviously gave Hungary loads of chances to take close-range fights with the pistols. So we'll see if that's a consistent theme for them, but thankfully Bubble bails them out.
It's good to get the lineup. That means Bubble's kept them in control on the CT side, but that's a warning shot, isn't it? It's a little slap on the wrist that you guys can get overwhelmed by those low buys. Something to look out for is those quick A plays that can catch a lot of teams out. Team Hungary are running with 4 players towards A at the beginning of this gun round, though.
Dreamer's playing in the apartments again, but this time Ships has rotated onto the site itself. Dreamer is looking for action, but he's taken significant damage. Even taken a bit more as he drops back. 2 points of full damage.
Wow. How is he walking, Hawker?
Probably won't make a difference, yeah. He's just bruised his toe. His little toe.
Can't hurt. Stubbing your toe. It's a big weakness, Alex.
Maybe that was a Lego that he landed on.
Yes, the Lego, the plug socket. Oh, God. 1 minute and 3 seconds left. Here comes the balcony smoke. Execute out towards the side. They see the weakness on the ace. Oh, what? Whoa. He jumped on Ships' head and just shoots down into it. That is some BM out of Corey. And Ships is going to be frustrated about that one. But look at Dreamer. He's inside of the graveyard, trying to be the Grim Reaper as he finds the head of Aaron through the smoke. And that'll be the bomb dropped in pit. And look at the rotation. Fiend have got the players over here on the site in time. And Bubble has burnt away Corey. There's a trade kill on towards Dreamer. They're into the site now. The CT side making it hot and heavy. Fleet gets overrun because Red Star takes the advantageous position. He gets the vantage point above. And now Coolio has to clutch. Bomb down in the pit. 23 seconds to do it. And 2 players he has to cut through.
Looking for the fight. Heard the scope, but Red Star too quick on the trigger. Closes out the round. And for Team Hungary, if the bomb site was in pit, that would have been a perfect play. But they all pop out through the apartments. They all get stuck behind those smokes, just in the pit positions. Fiend are able to fully rotate into the site itself. I think Hungary may have been better off having a couple of players jump out to the short side. because getting the pit control is obviously nice, and it cuts down on the angles you have to be aware of. But Fiend were in some good positions. And now we're getting some nice nades juggled over to B for Fiend. They are up against the pistols in this one, though. They have to be ready for this fast play.
It's certainly got to be fast and explosive, and Fiend have shown some weaknesses at dealing with this before. Harn, though, this time needs to delay. He needs to do enough. And the AWP has certainly put a stop to the first couple of plays, and now they're looking to plug the hole as Bubble comes over with a rotation from B and shuts down 2 players from inside of the archway. We've even got those drop nades wonderfully caught by our OBS team. You see how those can be impactful. In particular, I think Inferno is the map that we've seen the most use out of that new nade dropping feature.
Have to keep an eye on if teams start to use it more and more as they get more comfortable with it. But not really a factor in this round.
Yeah, and also shout out to the OBS team obviously catching that, because we catched an event recently where it's really hard to keep track of it unless you have a good OBS team making sure that we keep track of all the nade dropping, so shout out to those guys.
Definitely important to keep track of. 13-10 in favor of Fiend. This double AWP setup has been devastating. Even though Harn hasn't got that many kills, he's definitely played better since he's got that sniper into his hands. The riflers have also done a lot of work for Fiend here throughout this CT half. 5 in a row, and it's Hungary's turn to try and break the streak. They've got AKs out. Harn looking for that initial angle again, but he's not getting given these early fights.
Apartments control is established here for Team Hungary on the other side of that smoke. Dreamer, he's just going to sit up in the apartments himself. Well, note as to why he was so effective on the T side at clearing out that position, because he plays it himself on the CT side. He was ready for every trick in the book. He had a great first half at just eliminating some of the double setups and gimmicks that were there. They're not going to be taking that apartments control just yet on the T side. They tried to take top Banana, but elsewhere Harn, yet again, getting an opening Hawker. You talked about him having much more impact on the CT side of Inferno. Well, he's starting to deliver that.
Ooh, they want to take control here. Bubble about to be flashed in. Despite having the man advantage, they want more information. And if Bubble's not careful, if he gets blinded, he has no support right now.
Here's the steps in Banana.
Yeah, they're calling that rotate now.
Yeah, they know.
Might be ill-advised, though.
You know, they're calling the rotate over to B, but the steps are going backwards. They're going back over to A. And Harn, well, he's going to be tested again. So far, it's been fantastic at the start of the rounds. Let's see if he's great in the mid-round. Spacing's off here for the T side, allowing picks for Harn to come in. Another rotation from his teammates coming through as well. Ship's looking to back him up, with the banana flank is there as well from mid. That's the bomb dropped. And it's all just on Corey, and he's caught in the apartment. Dreamer eliminates him. 14 rounds to 10. Team Fiend are 2 away from going to the main event and eliminating the home nation here in Budapest.
That's a great example of why it's nice to have that AWP static towards A, because as Hungary sell the fake towards B, they don't want to quickly give away the fact they're going to A. They don't want to quickly use nades into top mid, because then it will be too obvious and Fiend will start to rotate back to that A bomb site. So by having that AWP of Harn there in a position where it's somewhat unlikely any flashes or smokes will be coming at him, it makes it easy to land those shots. He did a great job at getting that second kill, though. Very quick, punished the poor spacing. And Fiend slowly but surely running away with this one here on their CT side.
We're into a last standby here right now for Hungary. Everything is on this. They lose this round, well, we're looking at probably victory for Team Fiend. So a lot of pressure on this round for Team Hungary.
Yeah, and the nades suck.
Yeah,
for them.
they do suck really badly, and they've not even got 5 AKs. It's a Galil in the hands of Badito. Not the weaponer you'd love to see in this situation.
I mean, if you want to go B, for example, you just almost have to have a smoke for CT. So they've got to manage those nades accordingly. Flea flashed off the angle. 3 players on B for Hungary, trying to pressure that position.
Oh, Flea, good shot through the smoke. Red start down, so a good opening kill here for Team Hungary into much needed round win. They're going to put some pressure on what? Through the smoke. Fleeve gets to line up onto the Coffin's headshot peak, and Bubble is now out of the round. Fleeve has the AWP in his hands, and I think that's enough to scare off Team Fiend out of this one. They're cancelling the attempt. No resistance will be had in this round. Team Hungary get 11, and that keeps them alive.
That's exactly what Hungary needed in that round. They didn't have many flashes to set up plays. They didn't have many nades to set up the plays. Oh, and that's a great shot from Aaron. Only on the saves, but still nice to take some guns away.
Yeah.
Problem is, Fiend are pretty rich right now.
Aaron has shown some amazing mechanical skill. His raw aim is solid so far in this game, and I think that's why he's just been so good at hitting those entries. A lot of the time he can get away with aggressive plays because he's so quick at just snapping onto the head. So definitely been fun watching him over the past couple of days. For Hungary, they start to mount their comeback. They did this over on Newcalker. They couldn't quite pull it off, but they've got to do it the hard way again.
B-site where Hungary found their success to break the streak of Fiend. That's a round that really just comes off the back of 2 early kills, though. It's not something you would expect to be replicable. You would assume that Fiend wouldn't let that happen in the future.
Especially because Harn has just been dominating most of those early fights. Only CT gun rounds.
And you still have the double AWP setup, so you can't just try peek these positions. Those AWPs will shut you down if you do that.
And Fleeve now has the AWP out. He was the player that got a lot of those entry kills, so the AWP, we're going to see if there's a change in that. So they're dropping over towards B again, just allowing the extra utility on the B side. Actually allows the A player, that third rotation player, just to stay around A a little bit longer because you have some extra util on the CT side. And Fiend making use of that. They're going to send Harn into the apartments to search for the opening. He has lost his life, and so Ships needs to pull it back, and he won't be able to do it. So Dreamer's time to step up. One claim back for him, but it's not enough to equalize the player count.
They've rotated fully away from B, and Hungary is still on banana. There were only a couple of players on A that were now selling this fake. Aaron's going to stick around, but at this point, as soon as they commit to B, it should be a round win in the bag.
Yeah, Bubble's trying to run back to get there in time to try and stop it, but the smoke's already got up to the cross. Aaron has gone down towards A, and look at the damage done onto Corey. If that HE swords in, it might just eliminate him, and that's going to drop the numbers, but doesn't catch Corey. Doesn't go deep enough. So it will be a 3 versus 3. Nice shot from Red Star. Has been traded out by Fleeve, who gets the double kill. He is under a lot of pressure in behind New Box. Nico soaring after. Doesn't connect to the damage and molly that, but the peak is held, and Fleeve will take another. Fantastic performance out of Fleeve right here, trying to keep his team and his country in this tournament. 29 kills. No one's even close on his side.
There was the utility there for Fiend to try and set up the retake, but the fact that the AWP is already peeking into CT makes such a big difference. It means that utility can't be used as easily. You see that last player trying to throw the molly to finally flush Fleeve out, but couldn't happen. He went down. Now Fiend decide it's their turn to take the tactical timeout. Mag 7 back on Ships.
Of course it
Would
is.
be a fitting way for them to find their 15th round.
Yeah, everybody else, fantastic gun. Ships, Mag 7. But he has got a lot of utility because of that. See if he uses it up properly. Well, Fleeve is searching for the 30th. Pretty surprised how successful the early apartments play was from Team Hungary, considering how many players Fiend had in the apartments earlier from the CT side. Good job of clearing that out, but we get into round 27. Harn peeking down into bottom middle. Fleeve might be finding his 30th here, but Harn does not want to go any further.
Ships has gone towards B this time with that Mag 7, so probably see him around the sandbags, potentially jump peeking in the future. Red Star has some nades to set it up, but Hungary want to battle for this control.
Gonna toss some HEs, and that one is meaty. Look how much damage is done onto Corey. It's dropped him down to 35, and he's gonna be forced into the fight. Ships is just one bullet away from taking this kill, and he's not gonna be able to get it done. Headshot there from the 8K of Corey, and Fiend have lost the first player.
And that's the risk with that Mag 7. You could be isolated on Banana. Red Star wasn't ready to help him out, and now the B play coming through.
Well, Red Star has to do a lot from the back of the side. He's certainly going to start delivering that. Another 3K from Red Star.
Oh!
Yeah, and a knife comes in from Harn around the backside. The missed shot, but recovered, and Fiend find 15 in a spectacular fashion.
Oh, that molly didn't fully force Red Star out of that position, it seems. He's able to just kind of tuck in with just enough cover to get some early kills. And then in the midst of all the chaos, his teammate's able to push through. A knife comes out. Bubble seals the deal. It's 15 for Fiend, 1 round away from the main event.
And Hungary 1 round away from an elimination. Another huge performance out of Red Star.
That molly, man.
If you
If
you remember back to the game that they were trying to play against Wisła Krakow in that elimination game, Red Star had another significant clutch in that new box. He's found impact in crucial moments for them when they needed it, Fiend. And now they look to try and close.
Not a perfect buy for Team Hungary either, but at least they have the AWP for their talisman Fleeve. Apartments control being contested. Dreamer happy to give that up. Fiend largely sitting back, except for Ships, who again has to commit to Banana with the Mag 7. And this time he's got a player here to help.
Mag 7 at the ready, but Corey's headshot is so quick, and he gets the second. 2 players from Fiend down, and the B site is wide open. CT Smoke has a gap in it, but Horn can't really spot the other side. And T side, the bomb is lagging behind, but they've got significant control, and Fiend have receded away from the site. They've conceded this round. They're going to be saving their weapons into the next one. Team Hungary on 13. 2 rounds away now from tying up the scoreline and bringing us to overtime once more.
And again, you can see why that Mag 7 has the issue of not having the versatility. You are forced to commit to that Banana setup unless Ships wants to try and play the site with the shotgun. He could have got dropped a rifle if he wanted to, but it's quite an all-in setup on Banana, and it means that unless you have more utility to stall out the push, if you lose those early fights, you're just screwed. You can't delay on B. Now they have to just save.
Personally, I hate it, Hawkeye. I just hate seeing the Mag 7 in that position so much. It's cool to pull out in a gimmick every now and then, but sometimes you just got to bite the bullet, go with a FAMAS, go with something different, because
I mean, Arn have money.
he's not getting impact out of it. You know, it'd be a different story if he was getting 1 kill per round, but he's just not getting anything. It's just a gimmick at this point. Hate to say it, but it does look like a little bit of a matchmaking strat.
Money isn't ideal for Fiend here either. I'm looking at Ships' money. He's got a CZ right now. I think they want to save some cash for the future because at 15-13, you'd rather get the guns out in the next. So Hungary give themselves a chance to try and get the win here. They only have a couple of players with the full rifles, a few pistols in the mix. Hungary happy to contest for early control into top mid, and as it stands, there is no one here from the CT side. This is an extremely passive setup.
And for Team Hungary, they got to keep turning the legs towards A.
There's no response to all this utility either. They're staying 3 on B right now.
Yeah, they just feel like it's going to be a final hit into the B site towards the end of the round, but Hungary right now still have the majority of their members towards A. We'll find out if that's the right call here for Team Fiend as the players begin to fall off of the A site. They're going to be turning their attentions back to B again. Fleeve, the front man in the charge.
There's only one flash for Team Hungary here too, and there's an AWP on the other side, so the smoke to CT will be really important if they want to breach this B bomb site.
They've got Bubble in the close rifle position as well to swing in the contact of Harn. This is going to be difficult for Team Hungary. This 3-man B stack, their stubbornness might just pay off. Harn with 1 shot. Fleeve is down. The bomb is still in middle, but the play forward from Bubble has found a player in Banana. Pedito trying to cut off rotation has found Bubble, and now the bomb is barreling its way through into the A site. Dreamer is in pit, and he is so good at just getting that 1 kill you need out of him. He'll sit in his position, he'll look for that 1 pick, and that pick could be massive. The bomb in the site. Coolio ties him up with a Galil and goes for the plant. He's committed to it. He's confirmed the bomb plant, and Dreamer's taking so much damage.
Dreamer just needs to survive, though. He knows he just needs to be on this angle so that his teammates can start to come in to help.
Massive kill from Red Star. Pedito is down like a flash, and now it's just 1 player left. Coolio trying to keep Team Hungary in the tournament, and it's not going to happen. Dreamer with the headshot. Team Fiend are a final team heading to the main event. They've locked in their spot. The #1 seed in the play-in. They've seen the elimination match on day 1, had to take down Wisła Krakow, and have now found themselves in the main event. They'll be joining some of the best in the competition here at Budapest, and it's expected to see the Team Fiend side at that stage of the tournament. It's been a pretty disappointing performance up until this point, but they've recovered, they've got the job done, but a lot of work still needs to be done here from the Fiend side to really look like that team that we know can cause upsets.
I'm sure revenge will be sweet for them, getting it coming through at the most important time. But as you pointed out, we do need to see them continue to rise up in this tournament. And I think you can see Bubble happy he got the win, a little smirk on his face, but he knows that they have more that they can do in this tournament.
Yeah, he certainly does. And, you know, for the Bulgarians, they came into this one, and like I said, the disappointment is certainly there in the opening game. But at this point, it's all about just getting the job done, playing the teams in front of you. And they were able to do it. They scraped their way through Nuke. Wasn't their map pick. Was certainly a difficult affair. But for Team Hungary, they put up a great fight, showing here in Budapest they definitely have a team worthy of playing on the stage. And some wins, causing some upsets, and playing some great Counter-Strike throughout the last couple of days. They gave Fiend a good fight, just wasn't enough. that Coach gave us, and I've just enjoyed his fashion, his charisma, like all across the day. It's just been fantastic to see this side going through.
I mean, maybe the upside for Fiend of actually having to make this lower bracket run is that they get a bit more time to play with ships. Maybe they're starting to get more used to him as they get a few more games in with him. They're trying to clutch at straws there, but as you said, good to see Hungary honestly playing so well, and these players are making a bit of a name for themselves just with how well Fleeve played, for example. He's someone we've got to keep an eye on. He was playing pretty well throughout this whole tournament, very consistent.
Yeah, I felt like the roles are actually pretty good on this team. You know, they had a lot of players that were capable of playing role situations. I think Aaron in particular, for me, was a great entry player, was very explosive, had a lot of executes. You know, when you go call for an aggressive play, he's able to pull it off 9 times out of 10. So certainly a player to look out for. A couple others there on that team as well when you look on the Hungarian side. But we have got James Spikes ready to join us here on the desk. Got his wonderful panel with Trallon and Kassad joining him as well. We're going to bring them up and have a little chat with them.
Thank you very much, Dinko and Hawker. Good work throughout that series and some good work done by Fiend at the end there. Certainly a big fight coming out from Hungary. And I will say one thing that I agree with the commentators when it comes to that one. I'm going to miss our Hungarian Tony Saparo.
Yeah, I mean, they were not inferior in this game at all. Like, the thing is, like, we cannot say, like, yeah, the better team, like, won and stuff like that. Like, you just... The more important rounds went Fiend's way, you know, and in the game, and the more experience kind of won this tonight. That's it. I mean, we wanted Fleeve to have a big game, and he did have a big game, but just wasn't big enough.
We can start off with that first half, right? The Hungarian side, a lot of aggression, a lot of disrespectful plays going down mid. And the thing with that kind of play style is, sure, it catches the enemy team off guard. However, you know, after a while, it does get expected. They did count for it, and that's why you saw Fiend actually coming back into that first half, making it a bit closer than it should have been. And now you're looking back at that first half as Team Hungary and like, yeah, we should have gotten a few more city rounds there.
That was not going to be the case though, was it? That's where they fell short, but certainly some more experience gained for the Hungarian lineup in it. And it's still a weird situation when we look at Fiend though. It's something to celebrate that they got here, but we all expected it to be better from the start of day one. Obviously they're playing with a stand-in as well. More time is slightly beneficial for them going into these bigger games?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just when you have a stand-in like that, and it kind of disrupts your system completely, and he kind of finds himself in a weird spot, and you don't know how to call because he doesn't know all the strats, all the moves, all the supportive nades that needs to be, you know, the timings, the rotations, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't really, it kind of just disrupts you, and the effect is something like this, like a hard game in the best of 1 and a hard game in the best of 3. So luckily for them, they had a really good game against AGO yesterday, and kind of launched them into this one, and they did the job.
When you look at this, right, when you look at just Fiend's results in general, all of their games have gone almost a distance. They started off with this 16-13 in the best of 1 where they lost to Team Hungary, right? Then against Wisla Krakow, it was a 13-16, a 16-12, then a 16-14, and even here, right? Okay, they've played that crazy overtime and now a tight Inferno game. They've not had any of these wins where they've just kind of steamrolled and punched up and just knocked out their opponent, which is a scary fact for a team that's definitely got some great ability on them.
I guess the question is, you know, that we always like repeated during the segments is that exactly how deep do they want to go into their strat book? Obviously, with someone from a competitor team basically on their lineup being there, and now you're thinking, okay, well, they do have to start to bring out those tactics basically, which could get an edge, because now we're moving into the main event, right? They have qualified, and the bigger teams, they will not give them the chance to make such mistakes.
I'm thinking there was not a single blowout, maybe one, in this whole like group stage, right?
The 16-9 was just up one map.
It wasn't even like, I think there was like somebody beat Onyx 16-5 on Inferno. Was it Isuba was there? Yeah, they won 16-5, and that was like the you know the easiest.
And Hungary got the 16-6 against Enterprise and Nuke. That's about it. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, not so many close games, you know. And
shows this level, right? What
the only loser, I guess, is AGL of this whole group stage.
Poor guys.
I mean, we had to just pound on them, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's a long year for them as well. But we have some good teams coming in the second stage as well.
Well, next up, we're going to be doing our seeding and looking at what's going to be happening into the groups going into tomorrow. So I believe I'm going to a break now, and then we'll be back in just a little bit with that.